All right, howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I'd be back. All right, I captured this effect again going on here. I want you to watch this storm and how it skips and jumps. All right, that's not a skip in data. That's, whoops. I'll pull back around. This is currently live over Florida right now. Our first little round sphere. All right, let me help. Let me slow down here. Try and get this centered. All right, our first sphere is right behind that storm front. You see the bulge in the front of that storm front? Our sphere is right there, and you can see stuff blossoming off the top of it at the very end there, okay? Now, back up behind here is a bigger sphere, and you can see stuff coming off of this first one going into a bigger one back behind. Now, when we have this plasma effect where it peels away from the sun and has the teardrop effect, there's the tail growing right there. So give it a second. There's a smaller diameter one down here. The bigger one comes from behind and nudges it forward. Just let your eyes kind of watch this motion here. And I'm trying to capture it for the record there while it's still live. And you can see the tail blossoming behind it. It's the spaghettification effect. There's a smaller sphere pushing down here, and then a bigger diameter one back behind it. All right, let me try to capture this again. All right, and when the bigger one comes up behind the smaller one, it pushes it forward. You see the flow asymmetries. You see how the clouds are reacting over the top of the small sphere. You see how they flow and disseminate and then go over the back sphere. Okay, there's no defined circle. It's in the flow asymmetries. It's like a rock moving underwater, and the back one is bigger in diameter, and it comes up from behind and nudges the front one and pushes it forward and changes the storm front. Do you see what I'm saying there? You can see it, it's almost like fire blossoming off the top of the sphere. The weather is blossoming off the top of this front sphere. Okay. And I was just got back and popped this open to see what was going on over here with these tornadoes. And I saw the nudging effect, and I thought that was a skip in the data. And then I saw the bulge, the round bulge in the storm front, and the sphere this time is behind the storm front, right there. You can see the way the weather blossoms off the top as it goes over the top of the almost like an invisible ball right there. And then back behind it is a bigger one. Okay. And when this stuff, when this stuff drapes over the backside of the bigger one, sorry about that, it starts to come together on the backside of the sphere. The flow comes together and makes a tail. And then that tail blossoms. Okay, so there it is. There's the effect. There's two of them this time, a bigger one and a smaller one. And I was telling you guys, I was showing you this earlier tonight when stream went down. Oh, come on, enough with the ads. All right, it's still in the frame though. Let me adjust here. I'm trying to do this from one phone to another because the laptop went down. Well, I have to because it's on the radar app. But you can see this well-defined tail. After stuff wraps around the back of the big one, you see it come together in the flow of this tail behind it. Okay? You guys have eyes that see now. I was trying to describe to you earlier how this works. I showed you an example. No, that's too far back. Let me try something here. I want to reset this app real quick and see if we can get rid of the ad. There we go. Oops. Come on back. Here we go. Reloading because that ad was taking up part of the frame. Okay, back to business here. Let me zoom back in for us here. Still the ad? Oh, Lord, please. I'm trying to do something important here, and the ad is taking up too much of the screen. All right, now, here we go. Okay, I'm going to leave that go for a sec and let your eyes adjust so you can see it. Now, they're not cookie cutter shape like last time where there was a ring, but look at the flow. You can see the way stuff is flowing over a round spherical object in the air there. All right. It's pushing the storm front from behind. It's giving it that little oomph, that skip right there. And it's because the back one came up from behind and pushed the smaller one forward. Okay, and hopefully this is capturing the effect here. And our weather patterns are, well, there's more going on to our weather than what we thought. Okay, I'll let you be the judge of this, but I'm trying to point out something that's there. Okay. And I'm trying to do my best to capture it on camera for reference later on before it fades. But there we captured some of it, and you can see the effect I'm talking about. It's the same effect we're seeing with the plasma when it wraps around these objects. All right. Also, there's storm warning for Guernsville there or Gainesville. There was a tornado warning when this thing first nudged it. I'm wondering if the weather office saw that nudge or whatever and gave it a little warning. But you can see how stuff is going over the top of it, how it reacts to the movement of this spheroid shaped object in the atmosphere there. And when air goes over the top of it, it cools off, right? So it's going up higher, it cools off and forms clouds. Right out in front of it is a big curtain of air that it's pushing. Now you can see I've kind of unlocked that part of your brain where you can see these flow asymmetries. And this tail coming off the bigger one in the back is just kind of undeniable that there's something there. It's the same spaghettification effect that we see when these things pass by the sun. It's kind of losing the effect now because these yellow clouds are going over them. But hopefully, right at the beginning there, we caught that, and some of you are, witnessed it or still see it. Okay, so there's other factors in our weather. All right, well, most people would look at that and see a storm front and go, Brian, you're tripping, dude. It's just a storm front. But you saw that little nudge where it skips right there. It's because it's not as skipping data. Something came up and pushed it from behind. I thought it was this line that's running down behind this green line. I thought that's weird. That green line shoved that storm front. But then I saw the bulge and the round spherical flow, the flow going around a spherical object here. Wait until this alerts go out of there. All right, back to business. and it's the motion. It's the, the movement over time here, almost like stop motion, not stop motion, but a time lapse that you start to see these flow asymmetries. Anyways, I was going to try to do a short, and it's too hard to hold the camera and do it at the same time. Besides, we had to wrap things up differently last time. So, I was saying, if you guys saw this on your radar or anything to capture it, and then here it is again. So I figured, well, I'll bring it to you while I can, or while it's going on. Okay, now it's starting to hide inside here. The clouds have gone over it. Whoops. And you're losing that flow effect, but you saw the nudge, the shape, and it was nudged by the one behind it. And the one behind it it's bigger in circumference. It's a bigger diameter spheroid than the one that's smaller, one that's up front and down lower. Right? And that yellow spot right in there, you can see the arc. Oop, my bad. I forgot I gotta keep touching this. So used to the computer, this app. Whoa. Right about there, I think. Whoops. I want the tail in there too, because that defines the round shape. After that air flows over the backside of that sphere, it all comes down to a point. All teardrops down to a point, just like our like the reverse V-shaped bow shock, and then leaves the stream, that tail right there. Okay, you guys are tripping, huh? You're looking at this going, no way. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I told you this would be full of surprises. Now it takes a trained eye. You got to have a high IQ. You got to be using both sides of your brain. You got to be paying attention. You got to be listening to what I'm describing, grasping the concept, giving it an open mind, looking to see if what I'm talking about is there. Then I will let you be the judge as well as to what you're seeing. If it correlates to what I'm telling you, you can be the judge as well. But this is exactly what I was talking about. And this is the second time. The other example was a little different. The storm was down below of the circle. This time, the spheroid's behind it. And there's another bigger one up here. And it comes up from behind and shoves that little one and causes that little glitch in the data little jump that we saw there earlier. Looks like it's not dissipating, but has updated past that point. Now, a lot of people would say that's turbulence, that's updraft or whatever, storm or, wind surge coming from behind. But when you see this flow going over and reacting to something spherical in the air, the odds of that happening perfectly to a sphere, I mean, if it did it in half a sphere, you saw maybe just a small ridge for a second and it was a mathematical chance. But here you can see the weather is reacting to these objects. All right, the effect is kind of fading now. Sorry, you guys. But at least we captured it for posterity. I can reference this in another show, and we'll continue to kind of watch it because these things are still there. They're just being covered by more clouds. But let's see the effect that they continue to have as they travel along, pushing the storm front. Actually, I need to go pan it out a little more. Probably right about there. Let's get it positioned about right. Okay. You got to keep touching the screen every 10 seconds or else it'll fade. There's that little jump. Whoops. Yeah, we're getting past that data point on the refresh data. So that little oomph jump or push that we caught right off the bat there, it's kind of moving out of the data set now. But still, it's there. We're capturing some of it. Okay. So there are other factors in your weather, okay? These things are moving. They're not radar stations emitting a beam that's, manipulating your weather like we've seen before. This is something different. This is a round, invisible spheroid object up in the air, and as it moves through the air, its turbulence stirs up the air and is creating storm fronts, controlling them, directing them, steering them. There are side effects after they pass. So a lot of this strange weather that the meteorologists can't explain, well, no wonder why they can't. Because it doesn't fit the natural science that they're used to. That's what warps the brain and twists your melon here, is because it's outside the scope of what you're used to. It's new. It's strange. It can't be. It doesn't seem possible. So take some time to look at it with your own eyes there. And the effect is starting to fade, but they're still there. They're just getting wrapped around with more moisture. But they're producing the storm. They're guiding this moisture. They're stirring up the air, causing it to lift, condense, and turn into moisture or clouds in the air. Now, not only do we have more particulates in the air for water to adhere to and make rain, but now we have objects moving through the air, causing air currents to induce rain and storm fronts. Okay, basically, in a nutshell, that's what appears to be happening here. And I'll let you be the judge of that as well. I dare you guys to keep watching the weather, because I bet you this effect is just going to continue. And it's hard to spot, but like that little jump was a giveaway. Also, the curvature of storms, now that we see it and recognize its behavior, you'll know what side effects to look for now. And I bet you'll get caught up in the storms now. When you keep seeing this behavior repeat and repeat and causing storms, you'll be caught up in the clouds. You'll be caught up in the storm clouds, right? And fascinated by how this is really happening. And now it's the effect's kind of fading now, but they're still in there. You can see them still moving in the same direction, guiding the storm, right? And just like that little short that I did, if you continue to follow the trajectory that the sphere is going, you'll know what direction the storm's going, right? You'll see the wraparound moisture come around the back. You'll see it dissipate on the backside. Once it goes over the top and back down into warmer air, that condensation dissipates. See? Oh, my bad. I was trying to catch it right before it did it there. And thank God that these little snippets, these little 10 frame snippets, that we can put it into motion and replay it and watch it several times, because if you saw it just once or you didn't have all the frames, you wouldn't be able to see the entire effect. It's very, very stealthy. So I'll just kind of let this continue a little bit. I'm trying to focus more on the lower one and the actual storm effects in the front that it's pushing. And now their ad has to pop up. Give me just a second, see if we can get some of that ad out of the way there. All right. Their thing pops up anyway. So, oh, there's a little skip again, I think. A little nudge again. Let's try and keep it in the frame the best I can there. So look out, Gainesville. You might not have a tornado coming, but you got a big old spheroid pushing weather your way. Let's see how that one in the back is still. See right where all the yellow makes the arc? See how that air is coming up over the edge of that thing, lifting and causing condensation. Once that warm air gets lifted over that spheroid, it blossoms into clouds because it gets shoved up into the cooler air up above. Amazing. See that? Hopefully right there it's catching both of them. Oh, come on. I want the weather alert. I want to just brighten the screen. All right, so it'd be one thing if that thing was just sitting there, the wall was sitting there. It could be us producing a barrier, radar barrier type effect, but this round circular thing is moving. It's not like a radar station, and it's centered right here, and you're seeing, a circumference ring. That whole thing is moving. There's activity, three-dimensional activity going up and over it in a circular fashion, just like we see plasma draping over a spheroid object. All right, the effect is kind of fading, but we got the smaller one still down in front. I would really like to get rid of this ad. Hang on. Oh, please. Your ads, you guys. This is like really important stuff. All right, here we go. Get back in there. Oh, it pops up anyway. Give me 5. Yeah, give it 5 X flares to the planet. Make it 6 now. All right, there's our effect, at least on the lower one for a second. Sorry, it's so hokey how I have to do it here. Okay, so there's the effect that I was talking about, and some of you see what I'm talking about here. Or some of you probably scratching your head going, nah, dude's lost his marbles. But look, tilt your head to the left. There's a bisymmetrical face. Cock your head 45 degrees to the left and at the last frame there. So frustrating. Actually makes two eyes. And by symmetrical face. I heard those radars are knocked out, so they cannot pick up everything. There's kind of double effect with our radar. They can use it to detect the storms, and then they can also use it to like break them up. If you shoot a beam through this organized front, it'll disrupt it. So you can disrupt organized things. It's hard to organize things and cause a front. Now, this is what's happening. This thing is actually organizing stuff and causing a front. We have the capability to maybe dissipate something, but to create a spheroid object that's what, a couple hundred miles in diameter, the small one, the bigger one would be a few hundred miles in diameter, and have it right, up in the air in the currents, and its turbulence, wake and turbulence causing weather effects. See, they're kind of hiding in there. But you can see the stuff coming off the backside. That's the top of the ball, and then it drops down a little bit is this stuff. Okay. You can see the circular shape and the stuff flowing over it. Just when I go to touch it. Now, I'm kind of tempted to hunt around a little bit to see if, well, we got two of them, if there's anything else moving around in there. Oh, this ad. Oh, spare me. I want to get. Something up here, maybe? There we go. That's a good. I've been on for 28 minutes. Okay, I just got back from emergency and checked the radar app real quick just to see what tornado activity. I saw some warnings down here, and I saw a little jump in the data there, and I thought, oh, a jump in data. But then there was something different to it, and it wasn't a jump in data. There was something pushed, and it accelerated that storm front. It gave it a nudge, and it moved faster. See that quick little skip, that nudge? It did it again. All right, normal storms don't skip and go in little pulses like that. And then you can see the reactionary air going over a three-dimensional spheroid shape that's right behind the leading edge of that storm front. It's actually causing the leading edge. The turbulence at the front of the sphere is causing that leading edge. You see the bigger one in the background. The air goes over it, around it, and all condenses back into a little tail. Because you got air current. Well, you got air currents going over the top, around the sides. Remember, we're talking about a ball. So think about the aerodynamics all coming together back into a point once it wraps around the ball, and you can see the tail that it creates. And it's dragging that tail along with it. See? And then there's the smaller diameter lower one The bigger one comes up, bumps it, and gives it a little push, and the storm skips. Kind of just let this play so your eyes can like pick out one and watch it for a minute, pick out the other one, watch it for a minute, see the side effects, the roiling air, the turbulence coming off the backside of a sphere, the succession of rain. Once that air rises and condenses, goes over the backside, then it lowers and the clouds stop condensing. Thank you, Lord, for letting me capture as much of this as we got so far. So grateful for every little bit that we capture here, because this is like groundbreaking stuff. And you're first here in the lab witnessing it, okay? You're eyewitnesses to this. And if you don't see it, or you think it's just a trick or whatever, that's fine. That's your opinion. We can agree to disagree. I'm pointing out something that's really there. We don't have to play with the faces right now. Let's focus on the actual movement, the currents, the eddies, the flow, the lift of air going up higher and then condensing into clouds. Okay, the flow asymmetries wrapping around a spherical object, coming back together after the backside of the sphere into a tapered, well-defined tail. Okay, it's right in there. And you're not looking for a perfect cookie cutter circle. We're looking at air and the way it flows over, how it's reacting. It's reacting to something three-dimensional, round, spheroid, and its movement is causing the air, causing the storm. Okay. And that's kind of how we saw the other one earlier, is just like how the plasma wraps around the spheroid, painting an invisible target, like a invisible table with a tablecloth over it. It's the same effect here, just with water. And the lift of that moist air going up higher into cooler air over the top of the sphere really defines it. I mean, it really helps paint the entire situation. And then when all put together in motion here with the flow and with eyes that see now, you can discern what's going on, what's really going on in there. Something else is going on in there. There's more than meets the eye, isn't there? And right now, I don't have my laptop. It burned out or whatever happened to it. So I don't really have anything else to do a report on except from my weather app from one phone to another. So we're just kind of doing a quick little live stream to capture this for for posterity, also for the record, so I can refer back to it tomorrow night's show. Okay. I'm going to try to fire up old Betsy and say a prayer and see if we can get that computer going. for a show tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, possibly, because I want to get another show out before Impact. Okay, because no telling what's going to be happening between now and Impact, which is expected around 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay, and you know what I'm talking about, Impact, right? Our first CME, Cannibal CME, two of them joined together. Kind of focusing more on the lower one and the effects that are going on there in that one. And it's right there. You see all the stuff firing off on the backside of the sphere right there. See, it's pushing that way now. Is it me, or does it look like it changed directions a little bit? Let's continue to track this just for a little bit longer here. A few more minutes until it goes off the coast there. And the effect is starting to get shrouded in all the rain now, but we can still kind of keep an idea where the front one was going, where trajectory. It looks like it might be more pushing east than southeast, like its first original. The bigger one is easier to track because of the tail. The tail's coming off the very back of it, right? So it's right in that, all that lifted to go over the bigger one and create all those clouds right there. You can see the cookie cutter edge, whoops, as it enters that cloud structure, or as it forms that cloud structure. Okay, so there's your bigger one, lower one down here. See how this bulge came out? Looks like this gave it another nudge. Oh. No, it's not there. Here, let's back out a little bit. It's better when we back out. You get too close to it, you can't see it. Yeah, it's right in there. Okay. Yeah, it's weird. I've never seen that before. I saw it a couple times before, and I always wanted to capture it, and then I forgot about it for a long time until, what was it, last night when I saw the first little case of it, and I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, we had those dueling storms, twin storms that had twin storm tracks, basically identical storm tracks, and I was watching those blossom and travel in the same path, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing how they're just symmetrical. Each one, both storms blossom the same way. And as I was watching them, I noticed some circle, and I'm like, whoa, 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 wait a second. And then it reminded me, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about these little round type spheroid structures that move along in your storm fronts. That one's kind of getting hard to spot anymore. You see some of the rotation it caused? Some of that circulation, air went over the top of it and started to wrap around. think it's right in there. Let me touch screen again. Let's pull back just a little bit more so we can get both of them in the screen at the same time here. You can still kind of see the top one, how it occluded, all that moisture went over the top of it. It's kind of stuck in this storm now. It's created clouds that grow over the top of it. So kind of cloaked in those clouds now. You can see our lower one. You can see the earlier start here where stuff was flowing over the back right there. So it's kind of still going in that trajectory. I think it's causing this new bulge right there. Okay, a few more minutes, it'll clear the coast, and that's when we'll wrap this up. I didn't really have much time. Like I said, I was going to try to just capture it in a short, but it's too hard. It's easier to just go live like this, and then I can always come back to this as a reference. Okay, we still got the tail. We still got this tail over here that's, you know, still residual from the motion of the bigger object. And that tail is still kind of pointing to where it is, where the backside of the big one is, and what direction it's going. Yeah, it looks like they're kind of arching and going down this way, maybe a little bit. I want to see what happens when it emerges over here, if we get a nice, good cookie cutter shot of it. Okay, it was just a refresh on a new. Dang. Yeah, I think it's pushing that bubble out right there. Let me try right about there. Oh, it's still right in there, I think. Not in this bulge. It's more right in there. I think. Yeah, you can see some flow going over it right there. Oh, come here. Let's try to capture that again. Yeah, it's right in there, I think. That's too close. We need to zoom out just a little bit more. Right about there, I think. Ooh. I think it's kind of swooped down and going like that a little bit now. I'll let you be the judge, too. You guys got good eyes, too. I haven't had much rest in a long time, so my eyes get sore sometimes. So, ooh, I think it's right in there, right in this lower pocket right there. Right there. It's still in there. The effect is fairly masked by the clouds now. And let me try to go like that right there, maybe. And you can pick which one you want to watch, the upper or the lower one. We're going to get this just a little bit better for the camera there. Yeah, they're getting all occluded in the clouds there. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, right in there, I think. All right, we're going to let this keep updating. We'll just watch the flow asymmetries for a minute. You see how it's getting masked in the clouds? It's lifting. Why is this at 15%? What the? Get the. Ah. This was supposed to be plugged in the whole time. All right, well, it might depend on how long we got battery for here. But I'm going to continue to just kind of go until this thing loses the effect or it moves off the coast there. But it's causing severe thunderstorms outside of Jacksonville. So everybody in Jacksonville, be aware you got a storm coming in. This tail is causing stuff to blossom back behind it here too. It's whipping air. There's like a ribbon of air coming off the back of that sphere. See that this twisted ribbon of air is turbulent and it's stirring stuff up behind it. Let's see if we get a new radar here. I want all of it, please. Thank you. Yeah, they kind of cloaked in the clouds right now because of all the lift that they cause when they move. Air reaches over, goes right over the top of that sphere and gets lifted up high, condenses, and then as it passes on through, that air drops down the backside, it dissipates. Oh, really? Come on. Play games with me. All right, bear with me here. Oh, pop back up here. Okay. What's going on here? Give me a sec here. All right, it's reloading here. Anyways, hopefully you guys could see that effect there that we're capturing. And if come on, you, we're waiting for it to load back up. Here it goes. And we were. What is your malfunction here? All right, we're done for a second there. Yeah, you're kind of hiding in the clouds there. Kind of thinking that maybe this bulge right there. Let me get this ad out of there. You guys are terrible. All right, so You can see the wraparound effect that the tail is having. And look at that long, perfect streak. There's no like storm front air mass collision causing this streak back here. This is like a ripple of air that's come off the back of that bigger sphere when it was moving. And now it's right in that area. The bigger one is right in there. You can see the tail kind of pointing at it. I think our smaller one's right in causing that frontal bulge right there. So we captured what appears to be there it goes right in there. These spherical objects that are, causing air currents to move. They're kind of directing our storms and causing activity. Just their movement through the air causes turbulence. Like I said, air rises over them when they're moving, causing condensation. We have a whole nother factor, actually, probably the controlling factor of our weather. Another factor here. So not only are we seeing air mass collisions, these air mass collisions are probably being caused by these spheres. When they move through and they direct air, they're purposely guided, inducing storms in certain areas. And when we're doing our weather forecast, how are we supposed to know where these things are going to show up in that weather forecast now? Going to make, predicting a forecast different, but now current, like live casting. If I see this stuff going on in a tornado outbreak and we got storm chasers going towards it or in the wrong direction, I think it's kind of important that we study this behavior, document it a little bit. All you guys get familiar with it so you could be advanced warners as well. You'll see this similar behavior, and maybe you can't tell the people, hey, it's because of this round sphere, but you'll be able to say, sphere's going this way. It's going to take out that city. Everybody warn that city. And they're going to go, what are you talking about? And just trust me. I can't really explain it to you. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, but just trust me. I've got a big old object heading for Jacksonville. You see this twisting, torquing rotation right there? That S shape that it's making? I'm wondering if this is going to produce a tornado over Jacksonville. Are we about to see this thing just... Oh my God. Sorry. Take that back, Lord. I don't like that phrase, and I don't try not to use it either. I should say, thank you, God. There we go. Sorry, I'm trying to get a... So this smaller one shoving out front is actually pushing that first frontal boundary past the other one, causing that twisting, that motion. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Oh, it's like headed right that way. It's even got a little tail of its own there. See that little tail that it's dragging? The air coming off the back of it? See that little... Yeah, it's right in there. Right, this little thing's pointing at it. That's the airflow going over the top of that sphere, coming back together in a little teardrop type fashion. It looks like it's kind of curving and going up towards Jacksonville, maybe. At least the intensity has changed from red to yellow, so I doubt if it's going to cause a tornado. But look at this airflow, these symmetries coming together. Oh, come on. To create a twisting. See how all this air sharpens out? This arrow sharpens out something pointing right there. See how that straight line kind of pointing back up to the front of the sphere? Yeah, you can see it like a bowling ball effect. It just rammed right through that. I bet you the bigger one gave it a little nudge again. Look how Jacksonville got a bowling ball coming your way. At least the intensity, it died from red to orange. So, but the the air right there, that yellow line is going over the front edge of that spheroid. Look at this flow. Oops. See that ripple going over? Wow. Oh, you know what? I bet it lowered in elevation. It was up higher. It's still going on a course, but it went lower down towards the ground and allowed that storm front to relax a little bit. No way. Oh, I bet that's what happened, dude. It descended. It was up higher. It was causing air to go way up high and lift and cause severe red right there, right? Now, if it descends and goes lower, that lift isn't so high. You see this tubular curtain forming right in front of it. All right, I'm going to back out a little bit. I think we got a little close. Come on, refresh. Oh, there's a new alert right there for Jacksonville now. Yeah, I think maybe that's kind of looks what happened. Let's back up a little, back out. I want to see the large one, what it's doing too. I remember the tail is kind of pointing at its trajectory. See how it kind of went down? The trajectory was going this way and then arches down. So that tells me the bigger one right there kind of did a little southerly tilt. And kind of shoved that little one out in front a little more. Oh, dang. So all that yellow mass right there is the top of the sphere. That's where all the stuff's going over the top of the big one. Our little one's right out in front right there, causing turbulence in front of it. And you see the air coming off the back of the sphere into that little tail type effect. The tail is actually condensed air from the other side reaching up to that little tail vortex. kind of pointing at the smaller one, similar to this tail points at the bigger one. Yeah, we're a little too close in. Back up a little bit there. Yeah, this thing's about to go over Jacksonville and then out into the Atlantic, and then we'll wrap it up because, shoot, it's getting late for me, early in the morning for you guys. I'm just glad I was able to capture some of this effect before it got too cloaked in the clouds there. For some of you who saw the original effect, you can still see that it's continuing here. It's just cloaked more by the clouds because of the lift. And of course, got to get an ad in there to ruin it all. Hang on. Try and get you guys just a tad bit better view if I can get rid of that ad. Oh. See the twisting vortex circulation that this interaction has caused, this three-way twisting coming together right there outside of Jacksonville. Right there. You can see our object, the spheroid shape, is causing the air to twist. And we're getting rotation outside of Jacksonville, whether it's a severe storm, in the red or not. You can see this rotation approaching Jacksonville, induced by that smaller object. Oh, come on now. Oh, I'm touching the wrong screen. Yeah, you could make it out there for just a second right in there. Okay, yeah, it's heading right over Jacksonville. So our small spheroid is causing this twisting not vortex, but this, twisting motion over approaching Jacksonville right here. I'm not really concerned about the big one back behind. I want to see what this does here. This is trying to do something over Jacksonville here. So maybe the sphere, it drops in elevation, okay, descends a little bit, it changes course, and if the sphere itself starts twisting itself, it could take air currents that are in front of it, instead of going over and actually directing them in a twisting fashion, which appears to be what might be happening here, because this isn't your normal rotation from a severe weather front. This isn't like rotation we see out of a mesocyclone. This is rotation we see out of a round spheroid object controlling weather. Let me get back here a little bit. I'll leave it right there for a second. Yeah, a simple shift in position or elevation can strengthen it or weaken it. A little rotation on the sphere itself can cause torque and twisting, if that's what's going on there. I think that might be good right there for a second. Oh, you turkey. Okay, there's our first round spherical object right there, leading that storm front or driving that bulged part of the storm front right there, causing that twisting sensation in the clouds there. Because that's not, I don't know, I've never seen, rotation like that without a, big major thunderstorm right there. That looks to me to be obviously caused by this object. Whether it's twisting and causing that or just its trajectory compared to the big one behind it induces a new airflow, a new flow asymmetry where, let's see this thing, what it does here to Jacksonville. Back just a little bit right there. Now we can see the bigger one back behind. Remember, this tail is still pointing at the back of it. So you can see it right in there. You see a little clearing right there. That's like the top leading edge of that sphere. See it break through the clouds a little bit there. I gotta try to get rid of this ad for a second while we're waiting for a new thing of data to come in. All right, here we go. Yes, hopefully a little bit better here. And then as soon as I get it right, they got to squeeze an ad in there. Greed is going to really mess up something. We're going to be in the middle of something super important, and it's going to be missed because commercial break, and somebody had to get some ad revenue for the last, 15 minutes of their life playing games when we got important business to take care of. Can you see how I can get frustrated with this stuff sometimes? Trying to save lives here and help issues. Ooh, did you see this reflectivity, this radar? Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, what was that? All right, let's just data refresh right here. Yeah, you see that scattering through there? See those magnetic waves? Right in that region. You can see the friggin' magnetic field lines kind of on this thing. Right in there. And I don't think that's our radar doing that. That looks to me to be caused by our smaller object here. All right, let me pull back up here and get more centered over our activity over Jacksonville here. Yeah, you can see the magnetic frequency waves surrounding that small object interact with the air. Wow. Oh, thank you, Lord. I'm so glad I captured this. Even though it's not the best quality, it's the activity of what's going on here. Okay, right there's the top leading edge of your big sphere right there. Coming over the top. Here's the air trailing back behind it. Air going around the side of it, collecting back around the back side of the big one. Same with the other side. It comes around the back side and comes together in this long ribbon-like tail that's going around this big central or bigger object here in the back. Okay, right there gives a little shape to it. Our other one is out front here, coming up like this. And you see the tail. You see the tail change direction and go up. That spheroid changed direction. Now it's going up this way. So let's try to go. Oh, I wish you could get more screen. All right. Wow. Like an uppercut to Jacksonville. We're in a little too tight. Let's go right there. And that way you can pick out the back one or the front one and just watch the activity for a minute here until this thing clears the coast. Pull back just a tad bit more right there. It looks like the bigger one in back's kind of going more that way too. I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that. Could it be whatever it is? It's trying to make things better, less damaging. Um, it could be, but it seems to be actually causing weather and pushing this stuff and directing it. Now, I've seen on the backside stuff dissipates, so it could come in and, break up a storm in one fashion, but it could come in and push another one. Something's directing our storms, okay? God is directing the storms. He's in control here. You can see his handiwork on display for those with eyes that see. You see the big one right there. The small one looks to be up in there now. And you can see the magnetic waves it's making in the air there for a second. Let that refresh. Just for a minute there, it did a zinger. Zing. Look how stuff just smashes into this back one. How it smashes through the air and lifts up all these clouds and they all roil over the top of that big one. I think our smaller one's like right up in there. You can see the tail. It changed direction. The tail that was coming off of it right there switched and it went up. That thing twisted and went up to cause some kind of rotation there over Jacksonville. Interesting activity here. Let's look back at this tail. coming off the big one. See all this ribbon of air after it wraps around a spheroid, all comes together in this ribbon. Oh boy, the bigger one's clearing out clouds right there. Really giving it definition now. Tilt your head to the left. It's the big elephant in the room. See the big elephant at the very last frame right there? If you tilt your head to the left, there's two eyes and a trunk and the ear. Elephant. Big elephant in the room. Does anybody notice the big elephant in the room? Oh, God has a sense of humor, I swear. Look at this. Anyways, back to our activity. You can see our cookie cutter type shape coming out of the off of the big one there. Yeah, the elephant in the room right here. Tilt your head 45 degrees to your left shoulder. For those of you who know your left from your right, tilt your head to your left hand shoulder, and you got us an elephant with a trunk, two eyes. It's like the big object, the big elephant in the room. Driving nasty weather at Jacksonville there. Looks like an uppercut. Oops. Let me try this. Oh, we were doing so good without the ad. So see how intense see how intense this area in red was? My bad. I can't point to a touchscreen, Brian. Can't point at a touchscreen. This area up here was all intense and in red. As that little spheroid came up and spun, it did dissipate that. Kind of broke it up, didn't it? That was a pretty well-defined QLCS at first, right? It was a nice arched red QLCS until this motion came in and broke that linear line up and diverted it. Look at these magnetic wave lines coming through there. Wow. Absolutely amazing. All right. A couple more minutes of this and then we're going to wrap it up. I'm just glad we were able to capture this for posterity, for the record, for a reference. Also want to get a little bit of this tail in there too. Look at the round structure at the end. Look, you get the round structure of the storm itself. You can see the backside of the sphere. See all that rain's dissipating. It's going down the backside, going from intense down to normal again, and then dissipating into regular air. There wouldn't be a storm there if that big old sphere wasn't moving through the air right there, I think. Because there's nothing else around it. It's inducing all this current and activity as it plows through the air. And this tight ribbon tail, that's like a vortex of air up high. And I bet you this can cause disruptions, this vortex. You see how it's kind of spinning and lapping over itself right there? Let me get that. Yeah, let me get that effect right there. A little bit more this way. I want to see that whipping, that curling. It's like it's twisting horizontally in the sky. That's a ribbon of air, a twisted ribbon of air. It's like a horizontal tornado up in the higher air currents induced by the bigger object right there. I'll pull back just a tad bit more. I want that round effect right there at the end. You can totally see the backside of our bigger object in the shape of our storm. See, everything's intense over the top. Touch screen. Everything's over intense over the top of the sphere, and around the edges it's green. Ooh, we're capturing it pretty good right there. There we go. How's that? You can actually see the front edge of the big ball right now, right here at the end. Let me move my hand up. That whole yellow front right there is air starting to lift over the front part of that big sphere. I kind of lost track of where the smaller one went, but we can clearly see the bigger one. It's getting more defined as it kind of finishes off here. You can really get a good capture of the tail twisting in the air up there too. So let me look at these twisting currents up at the front. Yeah. Hmm. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Something else going on there, huh? Too symmetrically round, and you can see it. You can see it at the last right there. You can see the whole shape. It's all in green right there. The target has been painted. And that ribbon of air, after it goes over the top and comes around the sides, over the edges, all condenses back down into this twisted ribbon of air that's actually folding over itself. Let's get some of that in there. You see that? You see one air curtain go over and then another one come over. It's twisting in the air. The turbulent twisting motion of the vortex of air coming off of this round spherical object as it moves through, creating a storm front right there. You can see the shape well defined here towards the end. Going right over Jacksonville. Hey, you folks in Jacksonville, go outside and look up. You might see something crazy in your sky. Okay, there's no cookie cutter perfect circle. It's our flow asymmetries that paint this, just like the flow asymmetries off the sun. Look at the magnetic wave lines go across there. Oh, right. Yeah, there was a couple right up in there. Awesome captures. Thank you, Lord. So thankful to be able to capture this right now. I kind of stopped looking for the other smaller one. So captivated by this perfect display. This is like a textbook display here. Oh, okay. And look how air scatters over the top of it. Wow. Now, also, the further back we go, you can really see it too. It looks at the end here. Is this a woman sitting down holding her hands up? Anyways, despite whatever kind of weird shapes is making, you can clearly see this round spherical thing making this storm. And this ribbon of air, this current that twists, that comes off the backside of the sphere, this twisting current keeps twisting and reaching further and further back. Because this, how would you explain this kind of activity right here? This overlapping twisting of this air folding over itself. It's plain as day is what's going on there. There's no other storm front inducing anything else in this area. This is all happening because of this twisting air current up above. All true indicators, real indicators of our object moving through. Let's just kind of do it like that, because then that really gives it more perspective there. Maybe a tad bit right there. Okay, big old round spheroid object. As it moves through the air, you can see it disrupting the air currents. Air goes over the top, condenses when it gets higher, causing clouds over the middle top part of this sphere. Air flowing over it, wrapping around, causing this twisting tailing effect here. Hey, Reed Timmer, I got some new data for you, bud. We got new ways of chasing now. That totally sitting Indian style with her hands up. Now you see how when the sphere moves, the very leading edge right here, how it causes storm turbulence and stuff down here. Let's see this leading edge right there. And do something from way back a little bit. Try and capture this woman with her hands in the air praying. Cool. A little bit different dimension, a little different perspective on it. All right, pretty fascinating stuff. Yeah, there's a whole new factor to our weather, folks. Okay, you can see it right there. This round spheroid object causing the storm, lifting air up over the top as it moves, causing a air curtain in front, turbulence in front to stir up. We had a smaller one that was more visible at first that was out in front at the very beginning. Kind of lost track of that one, and we're just kind of documenting this big one before it dissipates and travels out over water. It might continue as it travels across the Atlantic too, but I gotta take a power nap. I got stuff to do here in a few hours, so but I'll sacrifice a little bit of sleep to capture what happens. Very rare, or at least we're capturing it this time. All right, so different kind of things going on in your weather here, and I bet this is, I'd say maybe a couple. The bottom of it was probably, let's say, maybe 3,000 feet off the ground, and then the top of it is probably up towards 8,000, 9,000 feet or something. It's lifting air way up high up there, causing it to convect. And I just let the images kind of speak for themselves right there. Wow. Let's get right there. So yeah, it's probably, I would say, maybe a couple thousand feet off the ground. And at one point, we should try to maybe get a freeze frame of it, get the size of the diameter of the circle, and then put a mile measurement on it and see exactly how big this object is. I don't have the time right now to do it. I have to take a power nap. I'm going to try and get as much of this as I can before I pass out behind the camera. uh, Amazing how it's kind of making this woman right here with her arms up praying or something. Like her hair's on fire or something, too. Okay, kind of undeniable. We got a big round object, spherical object, moving through the air, stirring up the weather. And its movement, the air wrapping around it, causes this twisting vortex of air, this tail that it drags along with it. And you can see these little loops, this air folding over and twisting, much like well, like one of those twisted little chips or whatever. It's like a little wave breaking on the shore. You can see it rolling over and over and twisting right in that region right there. A twisting column of air caused by the wake of this spheroid object moving through off the ground, causing convection, causing air to lift and condense, causing the storm, directing it, shaping it, influencing it. Okay, so a little bit longer here, and then I'm gonna go. Oh yeah! Wow. Okay, well, I'll let you be the judge of that. Because when I first started talking about this, it seemed a little crazy at first, and maybe we caught a glitch or something like that, but no, there's still the same activity, kind of in a different shape, but still the same activity. Then look at the front side. You can see the definition of the front side of the sphere right here. And then on the back side over here, you can see the definition of this round spherical object, clearly painted by the storm itself. It's inducing the storm. Its movement through the air is lifting air up over it, causing it to convect and stuff. So, whoa, forgot to touch that screen. Little update. All right. So, whole new discovery, and you guys are here for it live. All right. New influences on our weather. Or not new, they've been there for a while, but newly documented, let's just say. And if that's not the case, I would like an explanation for this ribbon of air. I would like an explanation of how this is convecting perfectly according to a sphere, how this twisting motion out in front of a turbulence as a sphere would move through air, we'd have a little turbulence up front there. How all of that stuff combined together could not possibly be a sphere moving through the air. Because all other indicators, clear as a bell, and, well, NASA Weather Channel, anybody got some explaining to do? Or did you even know? Now, anybody else on YouTube going to show you this kind of stuff? Let's go right there. Try and capture the last little bit of this as it moves off the coast there. And look how it's stretching this thing right along the Gulf Coast line. I wanted to show you something else here. Let me back out. There are no other storms around to influence this tail. There's not an air mass moving down here, moisture coming up to collide with it. This is its own separate little ribbon vortex of air up at a couple thousand feet, rolling over itself. The wake coming off of this spheroid object as it moves through the air. Okay, I've said it several times, but I'm just kind of documenting it for posterity's sake, and also as a reference for future shows. We can come back and reference this as an indicator of our motion and what to look for. This ribbon tail effect, your round effect, and then the lifting of air going over that spheroid as it moves through the air there. Wow. It's already been an hour and 42 minutes of this stuff. All right. Well, I guess we caught a good hour and 42 minutes worth of good evidence here from the little one that we started off with that was out front that got the nudge from the big one behind. That's what gave it away, was the nudge. Because I thought it was a glitch in data, but it was actually not a glitch. It was a nudge from this object pushing the smaller one out front. I bet this condensation out there, that might be our smaller one out front, right out here somewhere. Whoops. You can't touch it with a pencil either, huh? That might be where our smaller one is, out there somewhere. But I'm not too worried about that one anymore. I want to capture the last good images of this one. Oh, you know what I need to do? Maybe it's one of these days. I almost want to enter this into an AI algorithm and see what else we could find going back into the past with that algorithm and other events like this. What, maybe there was a storm that wiped out a whole place, and we find out that it was the result of of this kind of activity. And now that we know that this stuff happens, we can add it to a forecast. We can look for it while nowcasting in storm activity. We'll be able to detect it in blossoming thunderstorms when storm chasers are chasing. Okay, trajectories and flow asymmetries will become much more predictable, applicable. We could actually see our trajectory and place people accordingly out in front, out around it and stuff, because we'll know what'll be happening and its course, its size, speed, height. We might even be able to detect its height. How high is it pushing up these cloud tops? When we can measure the top of this cloud in the middle right there, we'll know how tall that sphere is. We need the diameter of this one, or all kinds of stuff. That's why I want to plug this data into it, like a computer, run a couple programs on it. Wow. I actually don't really need to do any of that stuff. We got it. We captured it good. Well, I should say. We captured it well. But there's a lot that can be learned from this, applied from this, um, you know, added to possible forecasting. You know, if we can monitor, whoops, say if we could, this thing orbits the Earth or whatever. Okay, we could track it going across the Atlantic, knowing its trajectory, its size, its speed. You can do math calculations, know when it'll arrive over here in Europe or something like that. You know, be able to know where it'll make landfall, right? It'll be making landfall over on the other side of the Atlantic, probably inducing storms over there. So you'd be able to say, hey, you got this powerful thing moving, going to be making landfall at France, say, with powerful storms. So a lot of data right here, just in what we're capturing right now. Very historical, important data that we're capturing right now. You're witnessing, well, history, kind of important weather phenomena history. And it's something that's outside the norm. Most scientists won't agree with this stuff. They'll be like, oh, no, no, it's this or it's that. It just happened to be this, and it just happened to be coincidentally. However, they're going to try to explain it away. But use your own observation skills. Know that our media and all the scientists are all in the same boat together. Yeah, it's kind of losing its shape and its power and stuff. It's moving offshore here. Okay, so kind of catching the last little bit tail end of this structure of this event here as it dissipates out over the water or moves out over the water here. And then just real quick, one last capture of this tail folding over itself. A literal tube twisting in the sky. It looked like DNA tube right in that part right there, doesn't it? Like a double helix tube right there. Right in there, huh? Pretty cool. Definitely a structure in the air, a horizontal twisting structure in the air, turbulence, the wake of this spherical object as it moved through the air there. Let me pull back just a little bit more. All right, I think that might be it for now because it's finally dissipating, losing its shape, and I'm losing the ability to hold my eyelids open, so I got to get going. I love you all. Bless you all. Thank you for being here for this historic weather moment. Okay, even though it wasn't like historic in tornado damage and lives lost, it's historic in the fact of what happened here and that we were actually capture it and then analyze for future use. There's a lot of data in here that we can use for future use. All right, see the lady that had her arms up in the air there? She was praying. Now she's waving goodbye. All right. I think that's going to be about it as this thing finishes off. I mean, I could spend another hour documenting the tail, but I think we got the tail pretty well. We got all the structure pretty well. We captured the trajectories, the effects, the flow asymmetries pretty well. The dissipation also, we're seeing it dissipate. There's another radar station out here. There's probably a gap in data. That might be a smaller object inducing something. We'll see. But other than that, you can see it kind of slipping away, fading away. But clearly there is a big round object right there influencing our weather. All right, that's it for now. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. Everybody get prepared, brace for impact. We got impact from CMEs. Well, you got tomorrow to prepare because the impact will be on the 11th. So late night, the 10th, early on the 11th, probably. So. Even Guardian News. All right, that's it for tonight. Yeah, love you all. Thank you all for being here for something different this time. That's it until my next stream. Love you all, and I'll be back. Bye.